the reason, Chase, I put the Joker magazine up. It's also our newest issue here at Mile High Sports Magazine. But Jordan Seaton playing a little bit of that Joker card right now.
What a day yesterday was, AP, dude. Oh, we're going into signing day. I know Danny was excited. All of us are pumped up. Who's Coach Prime going to flip? What's going to be the big news? What's going to be the big fish? And all day long, we just worry about Jordan Seaton. When is he going to sign on the dotted line? Who are all these schools starting to get in the mix? We're hearing Maryland, obviously, is the big one. His home school, he's from the DMV area, but it sounds like to me that Maryland is not the only school that's trying to get in the mix here. You got Oregon still trying to drop the bag, Ohio State, Tennessee. I heard Penn State was in contact with him. So it's 5, 6 schools maybe that are still trying to get to Jordan Seaton, are still trying to give him the right amount of money to make him flip.
And I was chatting with Alex Becker and Danny Bailey behind the glass. Like, when you turn the transfer portal in college football into essentially mercenaries and it's highest bidder, and, a lot of these kids don't have the same loyalties that maybe these players had a decade plus ago, this is what you get. And this is where I don't want to say the Coach Prime, like, it doesn't work against CU here, but if you're Jordan Seaton, if you're in his camp, you know that you have the flashy, sexiest coach and program, on your radar that really, really wants you. You might as well leverage that to the fullest extent.
I think another part of that, too, is Coach Prime being flashy and sexy. Other coaches just don't like it.
I agree.
And they look at the top recruit in the class, and obviously everybody was talking about Jordan Seaton 2 weeks ago, and it upset them. And Jordan Seaton went with Hayes Fawcett of On3. He did a live Instagram little interview last night, and one of the things he said was he's been getting recruited more since he committed.
People will think back to the show that you and I, it may have been the first show we ever did, one of the first ones back in September and October. People don't want to see Coach Prime succeed. He's the ultimate disruptor to college football. And to your point, he's unlike any other coach. Sure, there's some flashy coaches that like to chirp and talk, but nobody has come in and done what Coach Prime has done in essentially the blink of an eye. Nobody has their own Amazon TV show. Nobody's kid is one of the flashiest, best players in the country, Travis Hunter, all that kind of stuff. People don't want to see Coach Prime succeed.
Coach Prime has a lot of things that other coaches will never be able to have.
Correct.
All of the media attention, the Prime documentary, and I think that upsets a lot of coaches. And so you see these guys are coming in, they're trying to steal his recruit. And they have more money than we do. That's obvious.
They do.
But it's the exposure that you get at Colorado, and Jordan Seaton talked about that when he committed. That makes a big difference compared to maybe being offered a certain amount compared to showing the amount that you could possibly earn. Travis Hunter, Shedeur Sanders, obviously being the top 2 NIL earners in all of college football. That's a big deal to these guys.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see where Seaton ends up, and we'll kind of dive into the conversation throughout the course of the program. For chronological sake, we got a couple of sound bites because you bring up the good point of kind of the attention and the nature and kind of how Jordan Seaton went about this. And for a college kid, and yes, he's a 5-star plus offensive tackle prospect, but I can't remember many college prospects that are able to get on Undisputed and get on national TV and essentially break college football Twitter in the manner in which Jordan Seaton did. For context's sake, let's play the first soundbite. Here's Jordan Seaton on Undisputed announcing his commitment to Colorado.
The time has come. Jordan Seaton, next year you will attend ... which school?
First off, I would like to thank God, my family, everybody who's been in this recruiting process for me. It's been a long one, not an easy one, but those who've been with me and stuck with me, seeing how we persevere when times get hardest. But for the next 3 to 4 years. Uh-oh. What's in the bag seat?
What's in the bag seat?
I'll be going to
Wait a minute.
the University of Colorado.
Oh, I told y'all.
He's a Buffalo. Coach Prime. Oh, somewhere Shedeur is doing handstands. Woo.
Hey. Oh, my God.
This is
Listen,
a Colorado
Deion texted me.
Woo. Coach Prime did it.
That's the first one. There's the commitment announcement, and you hear Michael Irvin. Oh, everybody's all hyped up. Skip Bayless, all that kind of stuff. To go on national TV and say that, this dude might be playing his cards better than anybody ever if he ends up flipping and gets more money from another program.
Yes, I think that's true. I also fully believe that his announcement 2 weeks ago was genuine. Like, he was ready to commit to Colorado. Now, a lot of things can change over 2 weeks, and obviously that seemed to help his whole media exposure and all this different attention that he's gotten. And I think it's given him more opportunities. It's given him more ability to be able to make some cash from other schools, and that just makes a big difference. I think he wants to be a Colorado Buff, but when you have these big-time schools coming in, telling you they're going to pay you a lot of money, telling you you're going to come win national championships here too, or in the case of Maryland, you're going to come play for a coach that looks like you, and you're going to get to be a hometown hero, and you're going to be able to change the culture of this program too, which seems to be the things that really entice Seaton about Colorado. I think he gets very similar things at Maryland.
Yeah, which absolutely makes sense. And remember when we first heard about the commitment, like the take that I was throwing out there is, and everything you just said is legitimate, but coming to Colorado, you have an opportunity to do something that has never been done before. Now, Maryland, it's not exactly Ohio State, Notre Dame, these other schools that have accomplished a whole lot. So to your point, you can accomplish some of those same things. But I do want to play this second soundbite of Seaton talking about, if you consider yourself a dog, why aren't you coming to Colorado? Because to your point, I agree. I think it was genuine in regards to the commitment 2 weeks ago. Here's what he had to say then compared to where we are now.
Yeah, you got to believe in Coach Prime. Have an opportunity to play with somebody who done it at the highest level, gold jacket level. Very few can say they did that. I got 2 Heisman candidates, Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter.
You do.
They're amazing. You know how they go. Yeah, man, and if you ain't rocking with us and you say you're a dog and you claim you're a dog, why you not coming to Colorado?
There you go.
Why you not helping somebody who look like you?
Thank you.
So, welcome to college football in the year 2023, going into 2024.
Is Jordan Seaton still a dog?
Here's the thing. I agree with you, and I do wholeheartedly believe that his commitment to, you don't go on Undisputed and do that kind of stuff if you're not really, really, really sure. And I think to your point, probably after they did that and he got his exposure, he got his bag, a lot of these schools that don't like Coach Prime or that, have that direct pipeline to contend for a national championship, probably up their ante. We've talked about, and I don't know what schools are involved, but the big conversation when Jimbo Fisher got fired was Texas A&M will do anything they can with money to get the guys that they want, right? And I don't think he's going to A&M, but there's a lot of these schools that are willing and able to throw obscene amounts of money at these players, maybe a whole of a lot more than CU is right now.
Absolutely. That's been CU's biggest struggle, and we're going to get into this discussion, I'm sure. But Colorado only signed 5 high school recruits yesterday. And that's been the talk of national media. They go and look at these rankings, and they see that CU is like 99th in the composite because they signed the lowest amount in Division I college football yesterday of high school recruits. And they have decided to pour all of their resources into the transfer portal. They're saying, why are we going to drop a bag on a high school guy that hasn't done anything in college, hasn't shown anything? We don't know exactly what we're getting in a high school guy. At college, at least we're able to talk to his coaches and we're able to find some players. And I think that goes to show where they want to pour their resources into, and they don't have many resources to be given out to high school kids. And they are able to do it for Jordan Seaton, but not at the same amount that all these other schools.
Yeah, and I saw a clip going around on social media yesterday, and it was during a Coach Prime press conference from the middle of the year where I think he was talking about that very dynamic, and he says, we're trying to win now. Like, as good as these freshman players are, and Seaton is the exception because of how good he is already, like, they need to go get these guys that have started and played and have legitimate experience at these other D1 programs at that level. So that feeds into it. The one thing I would like to add on the Seaton conversation is I don't think he's doing anything that Coach Prime wouldn't have done if he was in his situation. That's where Coach Prime and that dynamic does work against you a little bit, because everybody looks at you as the big shiny toy, the big shiny object, right? You look at Coach Prime, you see Shedeur with the watch and Travis Hunter. To your point, Shedeur and Travis and all the NIL money that's coming through as well. So Seaton and his camp, knowing that we're in, look at Quinn Ewers. This dude committed to Ohio State, got a bag, didn't even play a game there, and now he's at Texas playing in the college football playoff. Like, we've seen this story time and time again, and I'm curious to see how both Coach Prime in Colorado and Seaton navigate it, because the game is changing. But there's no question that Coach Prime, I think, brings that element. You can only get things in Colorado that you can't get anywhere else, and that, I think, is the feather in the cap.
Yeah, it's probably not a good thing. But back in the day, Coach Prime was the exception to the rule. The loyalty in college football was massive. You go to your school, you're a Colorado Buffalo for life. That's all you care about. I think the loyalty in college football now is completely gone. And Coach Prime doesn't have any loyalty to Florida State. He doesn't care.
Right.
He says he graduated from Talladega College. So I think that's a fair point. I don't think it's a good thing. But that's the college football landscape that we live in right now. And that's exactly what Jordan Seaton's doing. He owes nothing to the University of Colorado.
No. 303-831-1340. Text us with your thoughts on where Jordan Seaton will end up. And the other thing that I'll add to that is, to the point of not having loyalty and kind of, this essentially being like minor league football. I mean, it's really not when you talk about the dollars and cents, but like, this is just kind of the nature of the beast, in this day and age. The one thing I will say, though, is I wonder if Coach Prime, we know that Coach Prime needs him, right? They need to build up the offensive line. They have some good players outside of him, which we'll talk about throughout the course of the program. And like, let's say he's able to get more at these other schools, or anything like along those lines. Like, does Coach Prime put his foot down, or just see you put their foot down and say, like, okay, like, go play for Maryland, go get your money over there. You're going to get a heck of a lot money here, plus exposure, plus the opportunity to do something that you can't do anywhere else. Maybe not call his bluff, but not let him just keep dragging this out and dragging this out and dragging this out. Maybe they look at it as, hey, we're going to take real good care of you. We want you to be a part of this. Are you in it for the money, or are you in it for the love of the game? Maybe that's a conversation as well.
I think that's the exact pitch that he's getting right now. And CU is in a battle. And they're going to keep battling until we get any news on this.